Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the second part of reproductive health, that is your sexually transmitted diseases and infertility and its treatment. I am Tanushree, working as a lecturer in zoology at Noyagarh Autonomous College. In our last class I had divided the topic reproductive health into two parts. That was the strategies of reproductive health and population explosion, what are the birth control measures and medical termination of pregnancy. Today we will be discussing about the second part, that is your sexually transmitted diseases, infertility and its treatment. Okay. Before I start the topic, let us know what are the disease condition. Okay, what is a disease? Any undesirable state of your body is known as a disease. What is an undesirable state? Normal state and undesirable state. Okay, what is the difference? Whenever we are in a good condition, we feel good mentally, physically and socially, emotionally. Okay, that condition is called the normal well-being. Any change in that condition, that may be your social behavior, that may be your physical activities, that may be in your mental abilities, any change, any undesirable change is known as a disease condition. Okay, any undesirable change is known as a disease condition. We never expect, we never desire to get any kind of disease. Okay, so this disease can be two types. Okay, we can categorize it into two types based on the mode of transmission. That may be communicable disease and another one is non-communicable disease. What is communicable disease? That can get communicated, means that gets transmitted from one person to another person. Those diseases are called communicable diseases. Okay. For the transmission of a disease, we need some contacts. Okay. If we get in contact of infectious person, then only we will get infected. Okay. Somehow certain vectors, there are certain vectors that act in carrying the diseases from one person to another. The agent that causes the disease is called the pathogen. Okay. The disease causing agent is called your pathogen, and that carries the disease causing pathogen is called your vector. Okay. That carries the disease causing pathogen is called your vector, and the person who gets infected is called host. Okay. From one host to another host, the infection gets transmitted. That may be due to contact, that may be due to any medium, that medium may be your air, your water or anything else. So that one healthy person get infected from an unhealthy person. Okay. Those type of diseases are called your communicable diseases, that are diarrhea, influenza, flu, all these things. Then come to non-communicable diseases. These diseases are not transmitted from one person to another, means if one person becomes diseased, that disease is not carried from that particular person to a healthy person. Those type of diseases are called non-communicable diseases. There may be genetic diseases or hereditary, that is transmitted from your parents to the offsprings, or it may be due to sudden changes in the physiological condition. For example, cancer. Okay. Cancer may be caused due to any kind of mutation, or any causes may cause cancer due to irradiation. Any drug may induce cancer. So cancer is not transferred from one person to another person. However, certain viruses are there that cause cancer. Okay. Only occurrence of viral transmission of cancer is 1%. Okay. Still there are certain cardiac diseases, those are not transmitted from one person to another. Those diseases are known as non-communicable diseases. Here we will be discussing about sexually transmitted diseases. Sexually transmitted diseases means these diseases are getting transmitted. These diseases are getting transmitted, hence these come under communicable diseases. Okay. How do they get transferred? They get transferred by means of sex. They get transferred by means of sex, hence the name sexually transmitted diseases, or in short we call it as STDs. Okay, sexually transmitted diseases. Diseases or infections which are transmitted through sexual intercourse are collectively called sexually transmitted diseases. Means these diseases are transmitted through sexual intercourses, and these are also known as venereal diseases, that is VD. These are also called venereal diseases. STDs are also called venereal diseases, or reproductive tract infection, or reproductive tract infection, that is STI. For example, gonorrhea, spiheles, genital herpes, chlamydomiasis, then genital warts, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B, also HIV. HIV is the causative agent and the disease is AIDS. Okay, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay, most discussed infection are recent years HIV leading to AIDS are some of the most common sexually transmitted diseases. Among these, HIV infection is most dangerous because no cure till date is being discovered for it. Okay, there is no cure for it. Some of these infectious diseases like hepatitis B and HIV can also be transmitted by sharing injection needles, surgical instrument, etc. Okay, कहाँ से होगा? When it is transmitted from an infected person to a healthy person, means transfusion of blood, or from an infected person to the fetus too. Okay, so the mode of transmission may not be only by means of sexual contact. In case of HIV and hepatitis B, this may be transmitted through from infected mother to the fetus, and also through blood. Except for hepatitis B, genital herpes and HIV infections, other diseases are completely curable if detected early and treated properly. So, for the cure of sexually transmitted diseases or any disease, it is required to be detected early so that it can be cured properly. What are the symptoms of sexually transmitted diseases? Let us know. Whenever we describe any disease, whenever we are going to describe any kind of disease that may be communicable disease or non-communicable disease, we have to first write what is that disease, and also the causative agent. Causative agent was what are the causes behind it. Then we have to write what are the symptoms. What are the symptoms? Then we have to diagnose them. Diagnosis, then we will go for treatment. Okay, as we know, prevention is better than cure. We need to go for prevention. If any person gets infected, then how can we prevent the reoccurrence of that disease? Let us discuss about the symptoms of sexually transmitted diseases. The early symptoms of these are the minor include itching, fluid discharge, slight pain, swelling, and in which area? Obviously in the genital area. There will be mild itching, fluid discharge and pain along with swelling. Infected females may often be asymptomatic, means there may not occur any appearance of symptoms, hence may remain undetected for long. Their detection may be delayed. Absence or less significant symptoms in early stages of infection and social stigma attached to STDs deter the infected person from going for early detection and proper treatment. Due to there are some social constraints and are thinking that we should not go for any treatment for any disturbance occurring in the genital organs. Okay, people do not prefer to go there out of what? Out of fear or anything else. So, we need to go for early detection. This could, if we delay, then this could lead complications later, which include pelvic inflammatory diseases, that is PID, pelvic inflammatory diseases, PID, abortions. Abortions means death of the unborn child, then stillbirth, ectopic pregnancy, infertility, or even cancer of the reproductive tract. If we do not cure the early symptoms, complications may increase. Sexually transmitted diseases are a major threat to the healthy society. Therefore, prevention and early detection and cure of these diseases are given prime consideration under the reproductive health care programs. In our previous chapters, reproductive strategies, there were certain organizations that were working for the maintenance of proper reproductive health. Hence, prevention or early detection and cure of the diseases are given more importance by these organizations. So that that comes under the reproductive health care program. Although all persons are vulnerable to these infections, the incidents are reported to be more frequent in age group 15 to 24 years. The age group belonging to 15 to 24 years are quite vulnerable to these sexually transmitted diseases. Okay. Diagnosis may depend upon looking at the symptoms, and early detection may be possible if one goes for the a perfect medical practitioner, then only it can be easily diagnosed, and accordingly treatment will be prescribed. There are certain causative agents that may be viral, that may be bacterial, so as to the treatment also differs. I will tell about that. Let us know what is the prevention for that. There is no reason to panic. Okay, there is no reason to panic because prevention is possible. Okay. Certain diseases may not have treatment, still we can prevent them from their occurrence. One could be free of diseases, infections by following simple principles. What are those principles? Avoid sex with unknown partners and multiple partners. One should not go for sex with unknown partner because we do not know whether the person is carrying some sexually transmitted diseases or not. Well, and also one should not go for multiple partners because infection may be there. They should use condom during courtiers. Condoms are the barriers that are given some spermicide agents and also some toxic that can kill the pathogen. Hence, they must go for use of condom during courtiers. Condoms may be used for females, for males, femidomes, condoms, cervical caps. I have told you in our last class. In case of doubt, if there is any doubt that the person is carrying any disease, any sexually transmitted disease, he should go to a qualified doctor for early detection and get complete treatment if diagnosed with the disease. Okay, then he or she should go for complete detection and treatment of the disease. Let us know some causative agents, name of the pathogens, symptoms and their treatments. There may be some bacterial agents that cause sexually transmitted diseases. Those bacterial diseases are spiles, okay. Another one is gonorrhea. Then another one is chancroid. Okay, these are certain bacterial diseases. Spilis is caused by Treponema pallidum, and the symptoms are ulcers, swelling, lesions, rashes, and it will be treated with antibiotics like penicillin and tetracycline. Gonorrhea, the causative agent is Neisseria gonorrhea, and it causes symptoms like pus containing discharges, pain around the genitals, burning sensation during urination. Similarly, the treatment bears penicillin and ampicillin. Okay. Then chancroid, Haemophilus ducreyi, ulcers over the external genitalia, swelling in nearby lymph nodes, and the treatment is given by antibiotics. Virus, there are certain viruses that these are the bacterial agents, bacterial diseases, and the viral diseases are AIDS. The causative agent is HIV, then hepatitis virus, hepatitis B, then genital herpes, AIDS is caused by HIV, and the symptoms include continued fever, weight loss, nausea, loss of immunity. And treatment is still yet under research, and still certain medicines are discovered, that is zidovudine, then azithromycin, didanosine. These are the some didanosine. These are certain treatments for HIV or AIDS. Then hepatitis B, that is hepatitis B virus, or also we call it HBV virus. What are the symptoms? Symptoms are the fatigue, jaundice, low fever, abdominal pain. There is no cure for it. As we know, there is no cure for viral diseases, there is no complete cure for viral diseases, so there is no cure for hepatitis B. Then come to genital herpes. It is caused by herpes simplex virus. It causes ulcer, fever, headache, pain, itching, and swelling of the nearby lymph node, and there is no cure for this. Then certain protozoans are there that cause diseases. Protozoan diseases are trichomoniasis. Trichomoniasis is caused by Trichomonas vaginalis. Okay, trichomoniasis is caused by Trichomonas vaginalis, and the symptoms include vaginitis in females, pain and burning sensation in males, and there are certain other symptoms. For this, the treatment is metronidazole. What is the treatment? Metronidazole. Okay, there are certain other diseases included under sexually transmitted diseases. Fungal diseases are candidiasis, causative agent is Candida albicans. The symptoms are painful inflammation with thick cheesy discharge in females, painful inflammation in urethra in case of males. For this, we will use the clotrimazole, that is clotrimazole, miconazole, nystatin. All these are used to cure the fungal disease, that is candidiasis. Okay, there are several other diseases that are included under sexually transmitted diseases. You can go through that by reading your textbook. You can get the information, and also internet is the best source to find out what are other sexually transmitted diseases. However, as we know, prevention is better than cure. One should not go for sex with unknown partner and with multiple partner. They should use protection, that is condom, during sexual intercourse. If there is any doubt, they should go for early detection, so that early treatment of these diseases is possible. Okay, here we complete sexually transmitted diseases that is required for your class. Then we will go to infertility and its treatment. It is another topic of interest, that is infertility. What is infertility? Let us know. Before knowing infertility, let us know what is fertility. Fertility word is derived from the word fertile. Okay, fertile means able to reproduce. From this word like fertilization, infertility are derived. What is fertilization? Fertilization is the process through which the male gamete and the female gamete unite to produce the zygote. That process is known as fertilization. Fertilization is followed by implantation. implantation of your blastocyst. Then there will be gestation. Gestation is the development period through which the fetus is developed inside the mother's uterus. Then after gestation there will be parturition. Parturition, that is delivery. Parturition, that is delivery. So after fertilization all these processes are followed, and any complication in any of these processes may lead to infertility, means absence of fertility. If there will be no fertilization, there will be no gamete production, there will be no zygote production, no implantation, no gestation, no parturition. Okay, and this process, these complications, and or we can say complications in any of these processes may lead to a phenomenon that is called infertility. Okay, a large number of couples all over the world including India are infertile. A large number of couples in India are infertile, that is they are unable to reproduce children in spite of unprotected sexual habitation. Unprotected sexual habitation means if they will take any protection during sex, there will be no union of male and female gamete. It means there will be a blockage between, there will be a barrier between the male and female gamete to unite. Okay, hence they have to go for unprotected sex. After that, still some people, there are many people, they are infertile. The reasons for this could be many. What are those reasons? Those reasons may be physical. They may be physically unfit, or there may be some complications in their physical activities, congenital diseases, drugs, immunological, or even psychological. These are the certain constraints that lead to infertility. In India, often the female is blamed for the couple being childless. However, more often it is the reason of the male partner that the couple is childless. Specialized healthcare units, that is infertility clinics, can help in diagnosis and corrective treatment of these disorders and enable this couple to have children. So what are the causes of male infertility and female infertility? Infertility may be due to several causes. First, let us examine what are the possible causes. Okay, suppose this is ovary, and this is what? Testis. Okay, ovary produces egg and testis produces sperm. Okay, there will be union of egg and sperm and will be formation of zygote. If any problem arises in this process, then it will lead to infertility. Zygote will be implanted, implantation, then gestation, that will lead to what? Parturition. Okay, the activities of ovary to produce egg is controlled by the hormones secreted from your anterior pituitary. Those are LH and FSH. If there is abnormal secretion of LH and FSH, the ovarian cycle will not be regulated properly and the egg release will be what? Abnormal. It will not occur in a regular cycle. So this may be one of the causes of female infertility. If the egg is produced, it may not be viable due to some genetical effect or due to certain environmental effect. It may not be viable or it may not be functional. Okay, there are finger-like projections called fimbriae in the infundibular region of your fallopian tube. They may not pick up that egg. Okay, the egg may not reach the ampullary region for fertilization with the sperm. This may lead to what? This may lead to infertility. If the egg reaches the ampullary region, that region may be due to certain causes may be unsuitable for implantation or may be unsuitable for fertilization to form the zygote. Okay. If the zygote is formed, it may not be implanted in the uterine environment because this environment may be unsuitable for the implantation of that embryo. Okay. If implantation occur, the gestation period will not be continued properly. That process we called as abortion. Okay. There will be death of the fetus inside the mother's womb. That process is called abortion, or also we can say miscarriages. Okay. Then if all these constraints are passed through, then only we will get the process called parturition or a healthy delivery. Okay. These are the certain causes of female infertility. Okay. Then let us discuss what are the constraints that lead to male infertility. After birth of a child, the testis descends into the scrotal sac. Okay. If the testis fail to descend into the scrotal sac properly, that condition is called cryptorchidism. Why scrotal sac is meant? Scrotal sac is meant to maintain 2 degree less temperature than the body temperature. That promotes spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis is the process of formation of male gamete. Okay. If there will be an improper balance of temperature, then there will not occur the spermatogenesis and the sperm will not be produced. Okay. If the sperm is produced, then it is travelled through the male reproductive tract, that is retitestis, then vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, then it comes to your ejaculatory duct, common ejaculatory duct. After that it enters to urethra, then finally to external part. Okay. If there is any blockage, in any tube, that may not lead to the passage of the sperm through that tract. Okay. If the sperm is produced, the sperm may not be functional. How? The sperm may not be functional. How? They may not have a motile flagella, because the sperm has a motile flagella for its travel through this tract. Okay. If this flagella is not motile, that it will not cause any movement, then how will it move through the reproductive tract of male? Then it will reach to the female. Okay. It will not be possible. If the flagella is okay, then the sperm count in the semen may not be adequate. The sperm count in the semen may not be adequate. That if the number of sperm in the semen content will not be enough, then it will not be able to fertilize the ovum. Okay. Then come to the quality of semen. The semen is produced through the secretions of the accessory reproductive glands. What are they? They are your seminal vesicle, prostate gland and bulbourethral gland. They constitute the secretory part, the liquid part of your semen. If the fluid part is not proper, that is the fructose level or any nutrient is lacking in the semen, then the development of sperm or the maintenance of the sperm inside the semen will not be proper. That may lead to another infertility. Okay. When the sperm enters into the uterine environment, it undergoes a process called capacitation. Capacitation. What is capacitation? Capacitation is a process in which the sperm acquires some ability to fertilize the ovum. Okay. The sperm acquires some ability to fertilize the ovum. If it is not well capacitated inside the uterine environment, then it will not fertilize the ovum and also there will not be production of any zygote. Okay. So, these are certain constraints that may lead to male and female infertility. First comes cryptorchidism. In case of male infertility, that is cryptorchidism, where the testes fail to descend into the scrotal sac. Then oligospermia, that is reduction in sperm count. As I told you that the number of sperm in the discharge will be lesser that condition is called oligospermia. Then come to alcoholism. Regular intake of alcohol may reduce the sperm count in semen. Impotency is when a male couple, when a male is unable to erect and penetrates its penis into vagina. Whenever a male is unable to erect and insert its penis into vagina of the female, that leads to impotency. Hormonal deficiency, yes, I left one thing here. The testicular activities are also regulated by the secretion of hormones, that is LH, that leads to production of testosterone, and FSH. FSH that promotes the development of the sperm or spermatogenesis. If there is any deficiency in these hormones, FSH, if there is lacking in FSH, then there will be no proper spermatogenesis, no proper formation of the sperm. And if there will be lesser sperm production, then the sperm count will decrease, means oligospermia condition will develop. Then immotile flagellum. If the flagellum is immotile in sperm, then it will not reach the reproductive tract of the female for fertilization. Then come to tubular blockage. If there is any blockage in any tract, okay, that may be your vasa efferentia, that may be your epididymis, that may be your vas deferens in or ejaculatory duct. If there is any kind of blockage, that may lead to blockage of the passage of the sperm, so that it will not pass through that and reach the female reproductive tract. High scrotal temperature. If the scrotal temperature is higher, it must be 2 degrees centigrade, it must be 2 degrees centigrade lesser than the body temperature. If it is higher, then it will not help in spermatogenesis. And defective semen. Defective semen means the chemical composition of the semen may be defective due to absence or due to improper composition of any substance that constitute your semen. Then come to functionless of male sexual glands. Functionless of male sexual glands means, as I told you, the accessory male sexual glands are seminal vesicle, prostate glands and bulbourethral glands. If they are functionless, they will not produce the secretions that constitute the semen, then that will lead to male infertility. In case of female infertility, the summary is ovarian problem. If there is any problem in ovary, means problem in egg production, hormonal causes, the hormones that regulate the production of egg, uterine factors. If the uterine environment is not proper for the implantation of your embryo, cervical factors. Cervical factors means cervix is the region where copulation occurs. Okay, also we call it copulation chamber. If the environment of the cervix is not properly neutralized, if there are certain anti-sperm antibodies present, they will kill the sperm. The sperm may not reach the ampullary region for fertilization. So uterine environment as well as cervical environment is important for female fertility. Then functionless of fimbriae. If the fimbriae is functionless, it will not be able to collect the ovum from the abdominal cavity. So it must be functional. There are certain macrophages of the immune component of the female, they may phagocytize the sperms. Hence, the macrophages are also, the activity of the macrophages is also a cause of female infertility, miscarriages. If all these constraints are passed away, the miscarriage may occur after implantation, means during gestation period. Okay. The child may not have proper space inside the female's uterus, or also there may be any defect in development of extra embryonic membrane that may cause to miscarriage. Finally, tubectomy and vasectomy. These are the process of sterilization. Okay. Last class we have discussed in birth control method what is tubectomy and what is vasectomy. In tubectomy we cut the fallopian tube so that the egg will not be released for fertilization. In vasectomy we cut the vas deferens of the male so that it will lead to permanent solution of birth control. Okay, if one male and female, they are undergone vasectomy and tubectomy, they may not go for they may not be fertile, because both these processes of contraception, both these processes of birth control measure is not reversible. Okay, these are certain causes of infertility. Let us know what are the treatment. For treatment of oligospermia, we may impose medicines like vitamin B12, vitamin vitamin C, vitamin E, and folic acid is given. Use of clomiphene citrate. Clomiphene citrate can improve production of gonadotropin and testosterone. What are the gonadotropins? Gonadotropins are the hormones that cause the secretion of the sex hormones. Okay, gonadotropins. Then there are certain releasing hormones, gonadotropic releasing hormones secreted from hypothalamus that regulate the secretion of anterior pituitary as well as the sex hormone. Then testosterone also can be taken orally. It can also administered orally. Dexamethasone is used to correct the presence of anti-sperm antibodies in semen as well as in cervical mucus. In order to correct the presence of anti-sperm antibodies, the antibodies that recognize sperm as antigens and neutralize them or kill them, we need to correct them by applying a drug called dexamethasone. What is that? Dexamethasone. Then erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction is corrected by surgery. Impotency is corrected by surgery. Ovulation may be induced by clomiphene citrate. Ovulation may also be induced by clomiphene citrate. This clomiphene citrate is also required for improved production of gonadotropins in males. Ovarian cyst, fallopian tube blockage and uterine defects are corrected by surgery. Okay. So, whenever there is any ovarian cyst, fallopian tube blockage and uterine defect, a female may go for surgery to cure it. Then we will discuss what are the techniques. After treatment, there are certain techniques. We call it assisted reproductive technology. We call it as assisted reproductive technology in order to cure or overcome the problem of infertility. Assisted reproductive technology includes reproductive technology ART. Okay. This include the process of taking the sperm and ovum and fertilizing them outside the body. Okay, that is called in vitro fertilization. Okay, there are certain processes like in vitro fertilization, IVF. We take the egg and the sperm inside a test tube under the laboratory condition to produce the zygote. This process is called in vitro fertilization. The term in vitro, vitro means inside the laboratory. When there is a term called in vivo means inside the living condition, inside the natural condition. However, in laboratory the conditions that is equivalent to the living organism is given so that the zygote is developed. After the development of zygote, it is transferred into a mother. We also can we can also call it embryo transfer. Okay, it is transferred to the mother who can not reproduce, who cannot produce any viable gamete. Still, she is able to conceive. Okay, that may be called as embryo transfer. That is called as embryo transfer. And another case may also occur. The embryo may be transferred to a healthy woman. Okay, embryo transfer is also called as what? That is called test tube baby. Embryo transfer is also called as test tube baby, and the mother who carries the newly formed embryo is called a surrogate mother. That mother may be different from the biological mother and is called a surrogate mother. Then we also can say the embryo transfer may be GIFT. Zygote intrafallopian transfer. When it is in 8 cell stage, that is called blastomere. Okay, what is that? Blastomere. When it is an 8 cell blastomere, it will be transferred to what? To the fallopian tube where fertilization occurs. Okay, and this process is called zygote intrafallopian tube transfer. When it is more than 8 cell stage, that is more than 8 blastomeres are there, we transfer it into uterus, that is called intrauterine transfer. We call it as intrauterine transfer. Okay. After intrauterine transfer or GIFT, zygote intrafallopian tube transfer, what happens? The surrogate mother becomes able to carry the what? Zygote or the embryo. Okay. Then come to the gamete intrafallopian tube transfer, that is called GIFT. Okay, gamete intrafallopian tube transfer. इसमें क्या होता है? We take the egg from the mother and the sperm from the donor male. Okay, if the mother is able to produce ovum, she may not go for GIFT. If she is not able to produce the ovum, what will happen? She will be administered or inserted with the egg, and the sperm will also be inserted, so that the fertilization will occur and the embryo will be formed. It is also of another female who cannot produce but can provide a suitable environment for fertilization and further development is another method that is attempted for the process of assisted reproductive technology. Then come to intracytoplasmic sperm injection, that is IC, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, ICSI. What is it? It is another method, specialized procedure to form an embryo in the laboratory in which the sperm is directly injected into the ovum. What happens in vitro fertilization? The environment is given for fertilization. Here the sperm is not injected into the ovum, but in ICSI, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection, what happens here? The egg, if this is egg, it is injected with the sperm. Next is artificial insemination, AI, artificial insemination. What happens in this technique? The semen is collected either from the husband or the healthy donor. When the male partner is not able to produce given amount of sperm, if the sperms are not viable, if the sperms are not motile, if the semen is defective, then the couple may go for artificial insemination, that is the semen is collected from a healthy donor. If the male partner is not able to copulate, then they also may go for artificial insemination for the collection of the semen, and this semen collected is inserted or introduced into the vagina of the female. The semen is the sperm inside the semen is capacitated, then it will move towards the fallopian tube. Inside the ampullary region, the fertilization will occur, then the zygote will be formed, it will develop further for implantation. Last is intrauterine insemination. What happens in this technique? Intrauterine insemination, IUI. Here the semen is released into uterus. The semen is released into the uterus of the female so as to reproduce the newborn. Then we can conclude here that though several options are there are several techniques required extremely that require high precision handling by specialized professionals and expensive instruments. All these techniques require, these are several options available in market, however they all need specialized technicians and professionals and also instruments. Therefore, these facilities are presently available only in a very few countries. Other developing countries may not afford it because it is quite expensive. Emotional, religious and social factors are so deterrent in the adoption of these methods. There are certain emotional, religious and social factors that go against all these techniques. That is, they think that it is against human ethics. Since the ultimate aim of infertility, the infertility treatment, or we can say the ultimate aim of all these procedures is to have a child. In our country, we have so many orphan and destitute children who would probably not survive till maturity. There are many children that need parents for their care. Unless they will not be taken care of, they may die before attaining maturity. Our law permits legal adoption and it is the best method for the couples to look for a parenthood. Hence, any couple that is infertile may go for any of these techniques, but the easiest and the cheapest technique is to go for adoption for acquiring parenthood, and it is the best recommended method to getting parenthood in a country. I hope you all have understood all these techniques and the reasons behind infertility, its cure and the techniques associated with the process of curing infertility, and what are the strategies or what are the social constraints, and what is the recommended method, what is the recommended suggestion for every infertile couple to have a child. Okay, so here we finish the topic. Thank you all for your kind listening.